There you go.
Okay, I'm glad to have you with us. This is Bill Anderson, my client and friend, and I'm Donald MacLaren. I do work in helping people write books, and Bill Anderson has a tremendous story about his experiences growing up in South Central Los Angeles. And so together we put together a 344-page book, and we've titled it Seeking Heaven's Gate in LA. And it's the conflict that Bill experienced. His parents forced him to go to church every Sunday, but they were good parents. It's not a bad thing. But then Monday to Friday, he found himself in this South Central Los Angeles environment of having to deal with gangs. In his school, Crips were the big gangs. So I'm going to have Bill explain all that. And we used on the front cover the symbol of Hollywood, but underneath here is an alleyway, and Bill had to go through the alleyway and try to keep from being attacked or robbed during the community, his 3-mile walk to school, plus what happened at school. So we're going to emphasize some of this right now and have Bill talk about this. But this is a great book to help young people avoid gangs, and that's why the main theme is avoid gangs. So I think, Bill, you wanted to pick up on anything at the time now about maybe Washington High School. Was that some of your experiences too?
I want to start off of Washington High School, but I want to end it with Horseman Junior High School, and say that the graduation that we had, it was at well, it wasn't at Horseman. We had it at Los Angeles Trade Tech College, community college.
For which one?
Los Angeles Trade Tech.
Yeah,
it's near downtown.
Which school?
Horseman.
Graduation,
Horseman.
Okay.
It was a joke. After one rehearsal, I didn't want no more parts of the school or the people that went there. I walked to the nearest bus stop, which was on Western Avenue. I went home, rode by Horseman, and that was it. Horseman was over.
Yeah, that was
even though I was supposed to graduate,
yeah.
I didn't want no parts of it because I didn't learn nothing there.
Yeah.
Didn't find out until later that, the things I should have learned, I didn't. But I didn't learn nothing there, and it was a big, I ain't gonna say waste of time, because I did learn how to survive skill. And instead of book smarts, I learned street smarts.
And also, Washington High School, you call that the capital of the gang world at the time almost, huh? It's very bad there with Crips.
Exactly. Crips. Washington High School was considered the gang capital. And at the time I was going there, it didn't seem that way. But my first week or two there, I was terrified. My biggest fear was that I hope this is not a second coming of Horseman. I was praying that it wasn't, and it wasn't. At Washington High School, it was like there were a lot of Crips there, a lot of gangbangers, and different sets that was going there, but they really didn't bother you, or they didn't harass you by like taking money and stuff like that. But they was there, the presence was there. They really didn't bother you unless you was like trying to bother them, or you was a rival gang member yourself, trying to do havoc on them, or of course you're not a Blood or anything like that, or a Brim or Inglewood family or Pyro, anybody like that.
Now, were the stealing of lunch money, that was sort of add more terror to going to school. That was more Horseman type
Yes,
school?
that was more Horseman. Once you got to Washington High School, it was more like the kids there, or the administrators there, they said, hey, if you're going to act like this, we have something for you. One thing, you're not going to graduate. The other thing, you're going to be put behind and then grade behind you. So there's no choice for you to be here. So if you want to drop out, you can go ahead and drop out. And once you drop out, you're not allowed to be on this campus no more. So that took care of a lot of people that were doing the same thing at Horseman. It just took care of them, the dropout rate. Once they dropped out, they may have found a job somewhere, or just hung out, did more gangbanging outside in the community.
Yeah, well, certainly gangs offered nothing as far as a future? They just were kids that wanted to smoke pot in the back of the classroom sometimes?
Well, another thing about Washington was that it went higher than pot. When I was going there, a drug called angel dust or Sherman, that was the main thing. It was much higher and potent than marijuana.
Sure.
They were smoking angel dust and Sherman, which is also called white rock, or yes, angel dust,
Sure.
white rock.
And you even spoke in the book about a girl you used to enjoy seeing, but sort of like a semi-girlfriend maybe. But anyhow, you said that you found out that when you went to see her near the end of, after a year or so, she had actually gotten on PCP or some of this.
Yeah, that's
angel
why
dust.
that's
There
why
you go.
this
Yeah.
book has to be read, because
Yeah.
the story is out of this world. It'll knock you off.
Yeah.
What could happen to somebody
Yeah.
that you love, and she loved you, and all of a sudden things happen. Read this book and you'll find out what happened. Also, to close things out, I think we run out of time, is that the gang stuff, the gang deal came to a head when I realized that this stuff is no joke.
Yeah.
I had a classmate in JRTC at Washington who got his leg blown off
With a gun. Huh?
with a gun. It must have been a high caliber gun, because I seen him one day and he had no leg no more.
Yeah.
His leg was gone from the knee below. And all I know that he lived in the 107th Street Hoover Crip area. And they had a lot of rivals with them, so
Yeah, it's a shame.
it happened near his home. He lived over in 107 Hoover Crip area, which is across the street from Washington on the backside.
Yeah, the gun violence is terrible now for all the major cities. We're actually doing the interview in New York City, and we know Chicago is bad and Los Angeles is bad still, and gangs are terrible for what they can do to encourage violence. Somebody has to be a macho man, so he tries to carry a gun, and just for little excuses, either retaliation or some other silly reason, he has to pull out the gun and try to shoot somebody. So we don't want that, and we want the young teenagers and young adults to read this, because they'll see events that are bad, that can hurt and kill each other with no reason at all. But Bill's done a great job and a great book, and we're planning to put together a movie so we can get this word out in his way, from his experiences. So any other comment, last comment as we close up here? Bill,
One comment is that
yeah.
people are going to still do what they want to do. They're going to join a gang, they're going to join a gang. Only way to prevent something is they actually see somebody dying or dead, or themselves are dead or dying.
Yeah. It's
And
too late.
if you read this book, they'll pretty much give you a framework that what can go wrong, can go wrong. And pretty much give you a guide of, if you're in it, get out. If you're about to get in it, don't get in it.
Don't get in it, you're right. Okay, good advice. And so we're going to wind up here, but we want to keep in touch, and please write to us and let us know what we can do to help you too.